All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. NASCAR Cup Series practice and qualifying. As let's see here. I don't even have that in the title. Qualifying. There we go. Okay, we are live. I'm having some technical difficulties on my side. I am not able to get into my Amazon Prime Video account. It was saying I have to update the payment method, and I thought I did. And then I went and I checked there's a QR code, for instance, on my TV to help set up the Google payment. It's set up, and every time I log back into Amazon Prime Video, it keeps saying that there's something wrong with my account. So I cannot visually view what's going on with practice and qualifying at the moment. And that is where we're at for the stream. I wish there was somewhere on the app specifically that I can try to figure this out instead of the QR code that they're giving me. McDonald's Wi-Fi. It's not McDonald's Wi-Fi. Why is the stream lagging? Stream seems to be okay. Yeah, it's not the McDonald's Wi-Fi here. I don't have any buffering going on. I'm just having issues with my Prime Video account. So if anybody that does have Amazon Prime Video can help me out here. Yeah, I literally just got an email. Google payment method has been updated. Okay, so that means that I should be getting video of this. Go into my settings. Manage subscriptions. Manage. After you subscribe to a channel. Sign up for Prime. Is that how I have to do it? Do I have to like re-sign up for some reason? This is a pain. This is a pain. Sports on Prime. I mean, I guess yeah, YouTube is airing practice. I didn't even think about that. But for qualifying though, I still won't have anything. All right, so what I can do is I can air audio of what's going on with practice from the YouTube channel. Not my YouTube channel, but where they're airing practice. I don't even have any live leaderboards going on right now. Is that part of the problem too? Let me log out of NASCAR. And on top of that, I'm having issues with my Prime Video account. So this is just a cluster of a mess for this stream. So I have literally zero idea what's going on right now then. Because usually with the raw feed, at least I can, kind of get around it. We know what's going on without actually having to visually see it. So I will go on to Sports on Prime here, YouTube channel, and I'll at least get coverage of practice. And I'll let you listen in, but because it's going to be from my phone, I don't know if the audio is going to be there or not. So you'll have to let me know.
Three is the most important corner, Marty, and because it's on that long straightaway, if you're really good, we got first spinning out here. The 51 of Ware is backwards.
Oh boy!
Caution on this racetrack as he tries to get it refired.
Oh, we're just in time. Cody Ware has spun. It looks like he backed it into the outside wall off of turn 1. And they're under caution. About 6 minutes into the current practice session, Group 1 cars are on the racetrack at the moment. Daniel Suarez has the fastest time of the 18 drivers who have made a lap. Suarez is first on the pylon for the moment. Then Kyle Larson second, Eric Jones third, Carson Hocevar fourth, and Justin Haley rounds out the top 5. Brad Keselowski in 6th, Riley Herbst 7th, Denny Hamlin 8th, Noah Gragson 9th, and Todd Gilliland rounds out the top 10.
Was into turn 3 as we watch. Man, you don't have to say a little more than usual. You can sell it out there. Be on the for Connor Owens. Yeah, qualified 9. He'll be a player later today.
All right, sounds like they're going to commercial as of right now. So commercial break on Prime Video for the moment. Again, I am having issues with my account. We do have, I'm able to get it on my phone at least for practice, but for some reason on my TV I don't have anything. And I usually use my phone for the chat, so if I'm flipping back and forth between screens, I apologize, but that's the only way I can see the chat right now. Shout out to those of you that are watching. Matthew Dorgan, Marcus Villarreal, welcome to the stream as well. This is unfortunate. Is there a customer service that I can chat with for to get this resolved? Because that's the most frustrating thing here is the fact that I have my membership paid for and I'm not able to actually view the things as needed on Prime Video. Let's see here. Because you go into base plan YouTube Live. Yes, so that is not what I'm looking for here. Because the QR code, for instance, on my TV, it sends me to my Google Play account, update payment methods, and then when I go to the payment center for Google Play, it says that the active subscriptions are for Peacock and YouTube Premium. But it doesn't even show Prime. So that tells me I probably have to re-sign up for it. For some reason. And then I go onto Prime Video or Amazon, and it says that it's paused. So is there a way to like unpause it? All it says is the update payment method on Google Play. Yeah, and then I go to Google Play and I did have to update the Prime Video app a little bit ago. So that could be some of it. But again, I did just update the app before the stream started and I still have nothing. I wonder if I have to like cancel and then just re-sign up. Definitely frustrating. I'll air the practice coverage again for the moment while I try to figure this out.
We used to, in testing and practice here, we would stand on top of the trucks, and I would actually time over the tunnel because you could look at it. You could reduce flaps doing it that way. Watch that 47 bottom out just a little bit over the tunnels. They got this thing down in the back as you watch a telemetry on the left, off throttle. Not a lot of breakdown there in turn 3. Throttle there, because he knows. Get to the gas real soon here. I got it beat down this long straightaway, and that's where you get a little greedy sometimes, trying to get to the gas too soon. And there you see the shift into 5th gear down the full straightaway. Back down into 4th here, entering turn 1. Marty, what's going on?
Bit of a change for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. this weekend. Adam Clayton Hughes is a new spotter for Stenhouse Jr. Tabloid no longer with the race team. So, Junior, I'm just kind of about curious about Pocono. Like, if you're going to bring in a new spotter into the mix, how would Pocono be to introduce a new spotter to the race team? Of course, Clayton, tons of experience, longtime spotter for Martin Truex Jr. Knows what he's doing, but a new pairing.
Yeah, there's a lot of language that you like, and we were talking today about when you're calling somebody out of a pit box, do you like to hear one car outside or outside lane not clear? There's a lot of things you can tell somebody that there's a car on your outside or inside. What do you prefer? What's the language as a driver that you like? And that's the tough part for the spotter, because he is used to doing it with the driver for so long, and then he may have to change some of that language. That's really hard to do. And how much do you want to hear? How much do you want to be told about what's going on around you? So they'll talk during the week, preparing for this weekend to try to get that right, and then continue during this practice. Hey, and you got to be honest, because you ain't got a lot of time. You got to get out of the car and go, hey, I don't need that much, or I need more, or I need you to say less or say more here. Don't use that. That confused me. Say it this way.
The other thing I would say about that too, and you guys talk about the variance of tracks lately, the cadence changes, which probably makes that building a relationship more difficult. Eric Jones and overall Legacy Motor Club, boy, have they been good in the last month or 6 weeks. He and John Hunter need to check.
Yeah, their cadence is going in the right direction, right? Consistently improving. And when you look at Pocono, right, the last three have been in the top 15, but 23 and 22, they're in the top 10. So I expect they look at this track as an opportunity to keep the momentum heading in the right direction. It's tough, man. It is tough to improve an organization. It takes so much time. It's like turning a really big ship, right? It doesn't happen overnight, but I'll give Jimmy Johnson and the new management team at Legacy credit. They are trending the right way. And I have to, Eric Jones and John Hunter, who we'll see in the next practice, I think they've done a really nice job of staying positive when things were tough. They were very positive in the media center, and I think that helps keeping heading in the right direction.
Got to be patient too. And I feel like Jimmy as an owner really reflects who he was as a driver. We go on board with Joey Logano, reigning champion, has a win here at Pocono, currently 12th in practice.
This just strikes me as a track that Paul Wolf and Joe Logano, they can win with raw speed. I don't want to take that away. A little Houdini. Nobody saw him. Pump of smoke. Here they are, victory lane. How you doing, guys? This is how you do it. And if you're going to pull that off, this is the type of track that you would think would fit their style.
Trevor?
Yeah, Steve, they would call that magic the little details, right? They said they feel like they do all the little things well. They don't always have the best speed, but they can execute. And that's what all these teams want to do. Right now today, though, Joey's working on his entries to the corners. Dale, you mentioned how important it is to get off of turn 3, but sometimes you can back it up a little bit too much.
Absolutely. There's a lot of speed to be gained, especially using that higher line into turn 3 that we saw Joey just go through. It's kind of difficult to know how far to send the car into the second groove. You understand how to hit that apex when it's right against the apron. But sending that car into that second groove, you can carry the car a little further. You have to talk yourself up to doing that. Because if you ever run the middle of the corner, you hurt that whole straightaway you want to be great at. But you can underdrive the entry to 3 and give up quite a bit you'll never recover from. Joey, you talked about how they manufacture opportunities to win races, and it comes into this race, number 1 in defense. And this is a track where now we have multiple grooves. You have this middle groove here in the bottom, but you still have the real opportunity to defend arrow-wise. And so I'm with you, Steve. You give this guy the lead late in the race, it will be hard to beat, even if they're not the fastest car on the racetrack.
His own teammate, top of the board, Brown.
His 4th full-time season, 124 starts for the 25-year-old. Atlanta next week, which I think he can absolutely go win at the Speedway races. Be interested to see how he runs here. You see a couple top 10s this year. Switch car numbers. Same organization. New crew chief this year. So a lot of things happening. And I like the driver lineup of the organization. I think they have a lot in common.
Are you a dill or a sweet kind of guy? It's the pickle mobile.
I think with Grillo, you can't go wrong. They have both good options.
Undefeated. I love that.
That's my daughter would tell me. She loves a Grillo pickle. You saw this thing on the track for the first time, and I got a text message. Dang. Could you get some samples? I'm like, well, that's not how it works. We'll just go buy them. But thanks. Thanks for watching.
If it's free, it's for me, Suarez having a good practice session. At least overall speed, 3rd on the board right now.
wanted to see if last week had to just be super emotional for Daniel, right? He won in Dale's car on Saturday, which was huge. Had some decent moments on Sunday's race, but I'm just trying to think what it's going to be like just reliving this weekend, right? He got to race in front of his home country fans, win, and then on Sunday we got to run in the Premier Cup Series in front of that same crazy fan base. Just wonder what the weekend's like, right? Although then he was on our flight Monday and he gets on with a box, and I'm like, is that the trophy? Yes, he was carrying the trophy. I know that he was excited to take us all there. But yeah, I agree with you. He's got to feel like a weight's kind of lifted off his shoulder. I'm sure he was anticipating that weekend, unlike the really kind of finishing out the regular season, trying to get some things done here. Trevor.
Yeah, Dale, when I talked to Suarez about that weekend, he said it was as big as competing for a championship for him. The level of pressure he felt going into the weekend, the level of satisfaction he got with that win in your car on Saturday. But here today, right now, he's battling with a little dardiness down these straightaways. You mentioned how long they are, but they're also really flat. It takes load off the car. I don't know if you've ever had that, Dale, but I've parked the car here before in practice and said, we got to work on the front end. This thing's darting all over the place.
Yeah, you definitely don't want the front end to kind of wander around on the straightaway. You know, sometimes the toe settings can allow the car to kind of wander without movement in the steering wheel. And when you turn the steering wheel, there's an idea the driver has about how much that car should point into the corner. If that's happening too quickly or just too fast, that's what a driver might see. The car's darty. If you turn the wheel, the car just goes a little bit too quickly into the corner. We added 2 minutes to this group after the Cody Ware incident. Inside at 9 minutes to go, Group 1. Brad Keselowski leading at Pocono.
All right, I'm still working on it. I have nothing that I can find because it's saying I try to log on and it says I don't have a membership, which would explain why I don't see it on my Google Play. So I don't know what happened there. Don't have subscription to Prime Video. Then how do I sign up? Because every time I try to sign up, it's telling me that there's a problem with it. Has anybody ever had that issue before? I know I've had this issue before. I want to say Atlanta. At the beginning of the season, I was trying to watch practice and qualifying, and I was having the same problem, or it was just qualifying that day. Call customer service. I'm trying. I I don't know if I'm gonna be able to call somebody obviously while I'm on the stream, but so if I don't have a membership, like where do I sign up then? It shouldn't be too hard to find. Let's see, join Prime. Okay. Amazon.com/Prime. You got it. I don't know why I can't do it straight from Amazon.com, but all right. What was that again? Amazon.com/Prime. Amazon. I swear if it takes me to the same page, it's going to be frustrating. Oh my gosh, it does. Why does it do that? Prime membership. This is frustrating. This is so frustrating. I put in the exact. I'll air more audio of what's going on with practice.
You're gonna have to execute.
Continue to try to
strategy
figure
that
this
your crew
out.
chief has laid out. That's the best way you're gonna have for a chance to win this race.
I saw Brad making a hard pit entry there. This is a very inviting, wide pit entry. A lot of opportunity for the driver to be aggressive and really make a lot of gains there. We'll see some people maybe get popped for speeding or slide tires on the entry pit road because it is a pit road where you can really attack. A lot of the pit road entries are ones that make you want to be conservative and safe. This one, so much. You can go after it.
So Larson getting a little time in traffic. We talk about, you mentioned Logano blocking. So, you know, how do you make this work here at Pocono? What's the trick to passing? The long straightaways and the corners, you're going to use arrow, right? And it starts on the straightaway. Much like Daytona and Talladega, the draft is in effect. If you pull up behind, stay in line with that car in front of you, it's going to reduce the drag, and you're going to find more top speed. But then when you get to the end of these straightaways and you get to the corner, the last thing you want to do is run in line. You need to find your way out of line. We're going to go into the prime garage. We're going to attempt the wind tunnel here and move the car to the bottom, and you're going to see the downforce just increase, either below or above. You can run left or right of the driver in front of you to try to find that downforce, then back in line again on the straightaways.
In the tunnel, there's really not an option for you to run a different line. You kind of have to follow whoever's in front of you. A little bit of an outside groove, but not a whole lot. Down here in this corner, we'll see the 22 and the 5 both running similar lines. But you'd love to offset a little bit if you're the 5. Allow this draft in to carry you back up to that rear bumper on this straightaway. We'll see what they do down here in turns 1 and 2.
I mean, you look at the draft, right? 195 miles an hour. We didn't see 190 in single car runs. So the draft is that real? It's nearly 10 miles an hour. So the trick is to stay close enough that you can use the draft. Once again, watch this 5 car. He's going to close in on the 22. The draft is very, a little lower.
Yeah, offset just a half a car, and that does help. I mean, you'll take anything you can get to increase ability of getting more grip through the corner. Down here in this corner, you see a big difference in the offset. The 5 drives right toward him in the middle of the corner here. Our own corner entry gained quite a bit. Now the 22 has the momentum off of the top, and he'll try to drag him down the straightaway. Trevor.
Yeah, guys, this is something we see out of Kyle Larson quite often in practice. I know some drivers have the mentality of find me a hole. I want clean air to know what these changes do to my car. But Kyle loves to get behind somebody and see what it's going to be in traffic. Another thing these teams are talking about is just the tire. I know you mentioned it a little bit ago with the lack of fall off, fastest lap for Kozlowski on lap 9, but also they're about 2/10 faster right now than the fastest lap we saw in practice last year. Could affect some fuel mileage.
That is a great point, Trevor. The faster you go, the more fuel you burn. And you're more conservative you have to be on tire pressure. We haven't seen an issue yet, but this is a track where you could see some rear tire failures. Let's look at these top speeds again. We'll see if these two are nice enough to give us one more trip down the front stretch. Logano should enter the straightaway faster because he had clean air, right? So you see a couple miles an hour faster, but then watch these cross over. Like at some point, Larson is going to have more top speed than Logano. Enter the straightaway. Logano should top out in the high 180s. I bet Larson gets into the 190s. There you go, running 3 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour faster for the trailing car. He just needs to be better through turn 3 to stay closer. Now you see him moving up the bank and trying to get that air. I think Larson's. This is pretty valuable information, though, because this is what you're going to fight tomorrow.
Let's get an update from Marty. Adam, it's been a tough practice for Zane Smith and the 38 team trying to make another run and another swing at it here at Pocono. What's going on? Listen to the radio.
In the tunnel, I'm fine on entry. I know, like, great. Like, very good spinning out.
Close to spinning out through the tunnel turn. That doesn't sound like fun, Steve, but Ryan Berginti has made several swings at the 38 car. Still has not found that speed, but how difficult is it when your driver's saying that, Steve, and you only have 25 minutes to fix it?
Well, it's difficult to fix, and the other problem is these 3 corners. Dale talked about the priority, but they're also very just different dynamically for what the car wants. So turn 3, long, flat, and sweeping. So not a lot pushing the car into the racetrack vertically, just as kind of pushing you into the door as you imagine, trying to slide out. The back tries to slide. And then look at this. This is the tunnel right here. So the rest of the track is reasonably smooth. And this part right here, just watch how hard the back of this car bounces. I mean, that smoke you're seeing is either the diffuser or the rub block hitting the racetrack. Then turn one, which you just went through, is kind of a vertically loaded corner. So just your tools are adversely affected in the different corners. What you want in one corner is not the same as what will work in the other. See the crew chief, but I'm not going to call that a stressful, that's a focused look down on pit road.
By the way, we got word Brennan Poole not going to make a qualifying run. He did practice, obviously, not going to qualify because of issues in the inspection line. We'll have a pass through tomorrow. Also heard Josh Berry not going to make a qualifying run. Damage repair for Cody Ware, so the 51 also will not qualify a little bit later on. Red and black flags are out for Group 1. Keselowski, Larson, Suarez, Busch, and Jones, the top 5. It is rough, and you can feel the pain when you make your way around Pocono Raceway.
All right, so we have just wrapped up Group 1 of practice on Amazon Prime Video for today's practice session, obviously, of the Great American Getaway 400 at Pocono. Brad Keselowski, top of the speed charts for Group 1. Fastest overall, and his best lap was a 53.258, and a speed on that lap averaging out at 168.988 miles per hour. Kyle Larson, by a little over a tenth of a second, was the second fastest overall in this group. Daniel Suarez was third, then Kyle Busch fourth, Eric Jones fifth, Carson Hocevar sixth, Justin Haley seventh, Noah Gragson in eighth, Denny Hamlin ninth, Joey Logano rounding out our top 10. Riley Herbst 11, Todd Gilliland 12th, Austin Dillon 13th, Zane Smith 14th, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 15th. Cody Ware in 16th, Ty Dillon 17th, Josh Berry 18th, and Brennan Poole 19th were the 19 drivers who were in that first group and participating. And I do believe that Brennan Poole is the only open entry car for the weekend in the 44 for New York Racing. So there will be 18 cars in Group 2, 37 cars on the starting grid for tomorrow. As you heard there, Cody Ware, with too much damage to the back of his race car, will not participate in qualifying. So he'll be starting at the tail end of the pack. Cody was 16th out of 19 in Group 1 for the practice charts. Yeah, every link that I end up going to when it comes to Prime Video or signing up says sign up problem. There was a problem with your Prime subscription payment method. You were unable to watch Prime Video titles until your payment method is fixed. So there was, I don't know. Like, there's no way to get off of that. I clicked the link that it says update your payment method, and my payment method is literally the card that's on file. And it's working for every other subscription except for Prime Video for some reason. And I don't know what the problem is there. There's no way around it. Like, every link sends me to that same page. Whether I'm on Amazon already, and then I go to customer service. Customer service. I know that there's like a... There's got to be somebody that I can chat with on here. I know I have before. There we go. Charged $14.99 on May 17th. That was a little over a month ago. Prime Video charge. Get help with that. Manage subscriptions, membership. Manage membership, subscription. Keeps sending me to the same thing. I swear. I'm doing everything I can right here. This shouldn't be this hard. You know, like, I'd like to say I'm in touch with technology. Like, I should be able to try to figure this out. And the fact that I can't is ridiculous. Have a question about the subscription? Contact us. Here to help. Charge order. Chat, I need a lot of help. Chat's got to help me here. I'll just go onto Google and put Amazon customer service chats, online chat. Where is it? Prime membership. Join Prime membership plan. There you go. Maybe I have to join. Join Prime. All it does is just send me to the same page every time. Sorry. It doesn't matter where I'm going. I wish I could just show you where I'm at on my phone, like on screen, as to where it's sending me every single time. Because I'm going to different web pages, and they're all sending me to the same spot. Payment method. Join Prime. I've got nothing. Last time this happened to me, I don't think it's the card that's the problem. Like, I can't get onto the account. Like I said, this was back in February when they were at Atlanta. It's the last time I had this. And I don't remember how I got it to work for the next week. Or if the problem just went away by the next time. I don't know. They should be back from commercial, and I would imagine that practice 2 is ongoing. No, that group of practice. Once they do, I'll let you listen in to the broadcast while I continue to try to figure this out. Because qualifying is going to be starting here in about 20 minutes or so, and I don't have the ability to view qualifying, although we do have practice at least. I'll get the live leaderboard back up and running. If I haven't been looking too much into the chat as far as who is here and shouting you guys out, they're I'm dealing with some technical issues on my end, so trying to resolve that while still streaming. Gator Prime. Yeah, I can't even sign up because when I try to sign up, it just sends me to the same page and there's nothing there. Like, where is there a link where I have to click to sign up? It's frustrating. Still on commercial, it looks. Start chatting. Finally, I found a live chat. We're making progress here. We're making progress. It's probably a bot though. I doubt it's a real person. Let's see. Cancel Prime Video add-on subscription. Something else. Need more help. Chat with an associate. Chat with associate now. Here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Balaji has joined the chat. Sounds like a made-up name. We'll work with it. Let's see here. I am looking to log into my Prime Video. Is saying that's to update payment method. Done this, and there is still an issue viewing my account. There we go. Now we say the same things. I understand your concern regarding Prime. No need to worry. Rest assured that I will do my best to help you with this situation. All right. We're getting somewhere. I know you're looking for NASCAR coverage, so am I. Bubba Wallace has topped the speed charts, it looks like, on our second round of practice. Tyler Reddick for 2311 is up to second, so we're just getting into round 2. I can't play the visuals on my phone because I'm currently on a live chat with customer service as to regards to my Prime Video account and why I can't view anything. William Byron out of the top of the speed chart. Chase Elliott up to third. Cindric fifth. Group 2 way faster than what Group 1 was. Brad Keselowski was fastest in Group 1. He's now back to 9th. Top 8 are all Group 2. And then Larson, who was second fastest in Group 1, is now 13th. So there is speed on the racetrack. I'm checking Prime membership is owned by a third-party partner, Google. Prime membership is owned by a third-party partner, yada, yada, yada. Any changes to the membership must be done by the third party in case I held steps to cancel. Yes. Cancel the subscription. Then I can re-sign. Again. It's always something new, isn't it? Always something new laughing at this. Well, at least somebody's laughing at this because I'm pretty frustrated. I'm keeping my cool because I'm on stream right now, but this is a pain in the rear. I don't understand that this has happened twice now. Granted, I mean, both instances were like 5 months apart from each other, but it is the last weekend on Prime Video. I like that I'm going to be signing up just to end up canceling again. All right. This better I better not be on this chat line for any longer than I need to be. This guy needs to pick up the pace here. I'm waiting on him to message me back, and he hasn't messaged me. It says I think it said something about like I have to send a message every 2 minutes or I'm gonna lose the chat. Which I sent a message. I wonder if that means that he's got to send a message that quick too. I thought I read that correctly. Okay. He's in the middle of messaging back. Cancel the subscription, re-sign up. See, I was trying to do that, and then it would say that it couldn't find my subscription before, so hopefully I don't have that issue with the chat. We don't have an option to cancel. Okay. Well, then help me. Is no active membership showing, but when I try to sign up saying have to update payment method, which I already did, yet I still can't thing on Prime Video. Running in circles. I kind of figured I was gonna be riding in circles. Could barely hear you. Yeah, I was whispering. I'm in the middle of a much bigger issue here when it comes to the live commentary side of things. I know this isn't the traditional live commentary setup. I mean, I need to get this resolved because the race is on Prime Video tomorrow. So even if I can't get it resolved for qualifying now, I was still determined to start the live stream at our usual start Apologize for you guys not necessarily getting what you're popping up. Have you checked through the Google Play Store? Yes, I have. Yes, multiple times. Oh my gosh. There is nothing showing any kind of membership for Amazon Prime or anything Amazon related. I'll go onto my Play Store again, but I'm telling you right now, and I'll show you guys too. Because I go into active subscriptions and there's literally nothing there. It shows Peacock, YouTube Premium, that's it. That's literally the only subscriptions that I have through Google Play. And then if I try to search Prime Video, which I obviously already have downloaded, installed, I try to uninstall and then reinstall the app. I mean, that's about the only other thing I can think of. Uninstall. Now I'm installing it again. I don't know why I didn't really think of trying to do that before. I swear if that is the only problem that I'm having with this. See what this Balaji in the chat has to say. He says, thanks for the details. Okay, yeah, okay. Contact Google support. Jeez. Will do. Connect with the Google team. Open the Prime Video account again. Live TV. It's saying to sign up for free trial. How do I watch this? Subscribe to Amazon.com. Prime Video. I'm literally trying to do this, and it's just, there's nothing. Well, I tried the customer service chat. They said that they couldn't help me. It was up to Google. Who broke it? I don't know who broke it. Somebody broke it. Thanks for everybody that has stayed tuned into the ongoing situation that is still tuned in. I'll play more of the practice audio for the meantime.
On board Chase Briscoe, 13th is where he is on our scoring pylon. As we watch these guys run laps, and we're going to come up on qualifying here in a bit. You see all those nice puffy clouds up there in the sky. You're going to hope that when you go out there to make your lap, you're going to have a little bit of shade on the racetrack. I've noticed today that any shade on the racetrack really has cooled off this racetrack and made the racetrack more comfortable, being able to produce a faster lap. Now, it's a huge track. You're going to ask for a lot of, a lot of luck to be able to get the entire track tamped down with cloud cover, but we had a really clear sky earlier this morning when Xfinity started. Now we're through Xfinity into the Cup practices, and that cloud cover starting to thicken up a little bit.
I think qualifying here may be one of the more difficult ones because of the stake is so magnified. You know, if you make a bobble in a corner or the car just doesn't do what you want, if you go to lean on it. You know, Dale, you were talking about having to get the corner exits right when you're driving in the position of the race, trying to block, but it's the same way qualifying. If you go down here into turn one, you get a little loose right here and you don't get back to the gas, and you're a mile an hour off, you're a mile an hour off down this entire straightaway. But look how long the straightaway is, and you're going to see today it's trending. It stays trending that way. If you had a great corner, you keep going in the green. If you had a bad corner and you're losing time, man, it just falls off the face of the earth as you run that long straightaway.
You got the 5-lap average in on the scoring pylon. You look at William Byron, 2/10 quicker overall than second place Bubba Wallace in the practice session. He's best in 5-lap, and then you go to 10-lap, and he leads there too. So some positive things happening in the 24 camp for a driver that's got the best overall average finish at Pocono when you look at the history of his time here.
Practice last year, faster than the qualifying times last year by a tenth and a half. Unique issue on the 24 right now, though. Listen to this.
I think my car is really good. I'm just trying to.
Gonna make a toe change here to try to get his steering wheel right in the middle of the steering, the orange stripe that you see at the top. You want that square. Dale, you got a unique style, though. I don't know how you drove the way you did for all those years.
Yeah, they call it the Arkansas pull. It was Mark Martin's way of driving a race car. You hold it at 10 and 2 down the straightaway, and then when you get to the corner, you take that right hand and you put it over there on the left side of the wheel with the left, and you yank that thing down in the corner, tug on that steering wheel, and he was kicking our tails in 1998, 99, driving the Winn-Dixie car in the Xfinity Series. So I tried to do everything he did to get better, and I'm surprised that they want to make the toe adjustment to be able to center up that mark at the top of the steering wheel, because that mark right there on the steering wheel, he wants that dead center. If it's a little bit off, I never really had a problem with that. I wouldn't want to adjust the toe because I'm afraid maybe that might adjust their balance and change how the car's handling. They got a really great race car.
Yeah, I guess that's why I want to do it in practice, just to make sure it's an approved adjustment.
But yeah, that is shocking. You would think that either side of the teeth on the quick disconnect will get you close enough. Let's listen to the 23 of Bubba Wallace.
We were planning to run 10 laps so we could make an adjustment for a fan tight there. Hold on.
Bubba either forgot or didn't like the plan. You talk about the marks on the steering wheel. Look on the bottom right. Look, he has 3 marks. So the orange right up for the orange marks. The yellow and the white marks are on the pit stops. The fender wells so tight, the cars are so low that on one side you're going to turn to one of the marks, and on the other side you're going to turn to the other mark. You're actually going to turn the wheel between the right and the left side of the pit stops. There's a lot going on that steering wheel, though.
Mention the fact Bubba's second. Pocono's been a good track for him in recent years. And this team with a really good bounce back. They had those 3 consecutive, work a little bit closer to the playoff cut line, but good rebounds at Nashville, Michigan, and positive effort last week in Mexico City. And as you see the points in now, plus 57. I would say far from comfortable with 10 races to go, but you've got some breathing room.
You have breathing room, but the problem is, let's just assume the winners come from below Bubba Wallace, because from above doesn't really move the picture. But from below, let's just say there's 2 new winners. Well, now the cut line is below Briscoe. And now he's only 19 above Briscoe, right? So that's what I think everybody has to understand is it's like running a marathon, but at any point I can move the finish line. I'm like, oh, try to save a little. Oh, you think you're ahead of pace? Well, what if I just drag this finish line a little bit further out? Now you feel like you're behind pace. That's the problem with this cut line is new winners move it so dramatically. Remember, there's only 16 seats at the table. So we don't know how many are going to get in on points.
And some wild card races coming. Next week, Atlanta, the road courses, which can produce some craziness, some new winners, and Daytona at the end of the regular season, Marty.
Much like Bubba Wallace, A.J. Allmendinger had a plan for the first run of the day. It was supposed to be 10 laps. It only lasted 4 laps. Here's why.
I'm like, here, I'll try. I got.
To see the back end of the story is they were 28th when A.J. Allmendinger came back down pit road and Trent Owens made the first changes on the car. They went back out. He jumped up to 14th So that's got to be an encouraging thing for the 16 team. Now he just went back down to 15th on the timing chart on the left-hand side of your screen. But the problem, Steve, he said, as soon as I lose front grip, I lose everything. I'm wondering if that's just Pocono or if it's because it's so warm here today, this afternoon.
Well, yeah, that, two things. First of all, coming in, making a change, and going back out. The concern is I think everybody drives better when it goes back out on hot tires. Oh, did you make the car better, Dale, or did the tires mask the problem you were having? And it sounds like, the front tires going away like that takes it completely out of the driver's hands. When it's uncomfortable in the back, I know it feels riskier, but I think you have an opportunity to drive it closer to its limit and make speed. But when the front tires stop working, you can drive that thing as hard as you want to drive it, but you have to just sit there and wait for the car to change direction. Pretty helpless for a driver to be able to make much time if the front just doesn't work.
See the 60 of Ryan Preece enters the weekend, 19 below the cut line. Had a penalty that hurt him. And flashing into the screen now, 9 of Chase Elliott, double duty this weekend on the pole for the Xfinity race coming up later today. Driving the 17 for Hendrick Motorsports. Been a good track for him. Third in the practice session right now for driver 9.
Yeah, they got to be happy with that. Had really consistent speed throughout the year, but still looking for that front row first place style, go out and win a race speed. And they've been consistent, waiting on that opportunity, Trevor. Yeah, guys, sometimes drivers want to do double duty in a track where they struggle to get better. But for Chase, he loves this racetrack. He wanted to do it because he ran that 17 car at Darlington. He felt like he'd have a shot to win. Obviously, proving that with the pole in that race and now third in practice. Also, Pocono in the next-gen car, he's been top 10 every race here.
And last week in Mexico, where lots been made of SVG, Ty Gibbs had a good car as well, lost track position, couldn't really go anywhere. I think probably the most impressive car outside of the race winner in the last 20 laps was the 9 Chase Elliott. He drove from outside the top 10 to the podium in third. I just think it speaks volume of the speed of the 9. The racecraft is really the thing perhaps I forget about when I think of Chase Elliott. In a track where passing seemed to be difficult for some, he pulled it off and made it look effortless. I know it wasn't, but he made it look simple.
Passed a lot of cars late last year here.
Yeah.
And had that speeding penalty. And so he's proven in some situations where tracks that it's difficult to pass. Typically, he's been able to get it done. 42, John Hunter Nemechek talked earlier about Eric Jones, his teammate. So good at Legacy Motor Club in recent weeks. Sometimes they kind of pass the baton back and forth. Sometimes it is both, but a tremendous effort for the 42 in Mexico City.
Yeah, 6th and was on the right side of the yellow. But, you can easily chalk it up to a good break, but you have to do something with it. They were calling the right strategy. The yellow helped them when it fell in the final stage. And then John Hunter survived the restart and continued that good run and finished 6th. Christopher Bell had some issues on pit road, working on the steering of his car, and he's missed a ton of practice. But here he is on the racetrack, finally making laps. 3 minutes left in this practice. He's going to get a little bit of an understanding of the balance of this race car. Fortunate just to be able to get out there for a couple corners. See how good he is, right? This will be the first lap. We're riding on board with it. Going through the tunnel right here, coming to the ultimate start-finish line. This is where they'll be qualifying to later. Ran a little bit higher through the tunnel, and if you get up off the bottom of the corner through the tunnel, those bumps are a little bit better. You can actually get the rights up high enough to where they actually don't go through the bumps at all for the most part. So if you're having some discomfort through the tunnel, you can move around and find maybe some improvements.
Practice doesn't always tell the full story, but we don't have Gibbs Toyota inside the top 10 right now.
Oh, I didn't like that right there. Wanted that car to really kind of continue to follow and wrap the corner, but as soon as he tried to go to throttle, he's losing the front and the back of the race car and had to sit around 25% throttle waiting on the car to finally hook up. Interestingly enough, if you watch the throttle trace, Bell, like most, you won't even see the throttle move to shift. Watch him reach over. Oh, he's not going to shift. He's going to stay in 4th in the 3rd gear. But watch here on the front stretch if we stay on board with him. He's going to get the wide open, and he's going to reach over, and he's now electronically controlled for the shift. He's just going to pull this thing back in the 5th at wide open. See? No movement of the throttle. You don't have to take your foot off the gas anymore. You literally can just pull that thing back. And itself knows you're shifting, and it will give like an electronic flip to the throttle, not a manual that the driver needs to pull up.
Talk about the fact there's no Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas in the top 10 right now in practice. 223.11 cars inside the top four. Fourth right now, Tyler Reddick, coming to a track that has been good to him in recent years. And when you look at the things that have gone wrong for this team lately, I mean, outside the top 10, 7 of last 8, they need to put something together here, kind of find their way as we head toward the playoffs.
It's been tough for them to find that consistency every single week. I still chalk it up to just still being a relatively new team, still trying to, battle, having as many resources as necessary to compete with the Hendricks and the Gibbs. And I think that, with some of the things that Denny said over the years, they still do rely on that relationship with Joe Gibbs Racing. I think that, as they can rely less on that and really expand their resources, they will be able to get to where they're running great every single week. Here, Ty Gibbs on the racetrack had some really good speed last week. Going into Mexico, got kind of caught on the wrong side of that caution, lost all that track position. We wanted to see him drive back through the field and kind of burned all his stuff up there running right outside the top 10. Good luck if you're a spotter and you're spotting.
What about play-by-play guys?
Well, I'm going to leave that up to you. I'm going to who you call out, then I'm going to decide if you're right or wrong.
I might say, excuse me, that was Tyler Reddick there. Group 2 practice is done. William Byron, the fastest overall. Okay.
All right, we'll go over the practice timesheet here. I know I haven't really done much myself for the stream so far. Having an issue trying to get into my Amazon Prime Video account. This is the page that it keeps showing me. It says that sign up problem. We have encountered a problem with your sign up. Please wait a minute. And then refresh the page. Web browser. Like there's a problem with trying to sign up. And it's probably because I already have an account. And then when I try to update membership, there's literally nothing showing. So I tried to contact support for Amazon. And they said that it was a third-party problem that I have to contact Google support. And the Google support problem yet. Practice was airing live, at least on the YouTube side of things, for visual purposes on Amazon Prime or Prime on Sports YouTube channel. But for qualifying, they do not have that there. That's where you need to have the subscription to Prime Video. Same for the race tomorrow, obviously. The bigger issue here is the race for tomorrow. But obviously, because we're doing live commentary for qualifying right now, I would like for qualifying to be applicable for my viewing. Otherwise, we're going to have to do this live commentary stream the rest of the way with no more audio or, well, audio from my half, obviously, but there will be no visuals that can help me. Yeah, I don't know. I need help in the chat. That's all I can say. I haven't gotten the chat help yet. There were some of you that were trying to help earlier with giving me advice on what I could do, and I appreciate it for one, but for two, see, create an account. Yeah, there isn't anything there because if I go to Amazon, I'm already logged in. I wonder if there's a way to cancel my account, like my entire Amazon account, and then just sign up again. Cancel Amazon account. Request via email or text within 5 days. Well, that's not going to work. action is irreversible, will affect on all Amazon sites globally. Verify the request email within 5 days. Yeah, that's not going to work. We need a solution now. I can't wait 5 days. NASCAR's not going to be on Prime anymore in 5 days. Pick is Christopher Bell, 13th in practice. Pick for the pole or pick for the win? Yeah, obviously there's still going to be live commentary for the Xfinity race today. That's on the CW, 3:30 p.m. But I am having some major issues with trying to get onto the Prime Video account. I could do qualifying live commentary with no visuals. I did it once earlier this year when I had this same problem, which was at Atlanta. And we'll obviously just be highlighting each driver individually as they make their qualifying run, which is what I would do on a normal basis anyway, but I can't see them visually making their lap. But we do have the live timing and scoring obviously right here on the channel. As long as that works. Now, if that doesn't work, then I don't have anything else for you, but qualifying should begin pretty soon. William Byron was fastest in practice from Group 2. Group 2 was noticeably quicker than Group 1. The only incident recorded was Cody Ware in Group 1 backing it into the outside wall in Turn 1. So he will not be participating in qualifying. The other 36 of 37 cars on the entry list this weekend will. And I definitely know that we're starting things off with Brendan Poole, who is driving the 44 this week. First Cup start of the season for Poole. Full-time in the Xfinity Series level. Get my chat back on my phone. Hey, that's me. I don't even know if you guys heard that. Heard my voice talking out loud. All right. Marquez, thanks for tuning in. Rito MVP 11, thanks for tuning in. Stu, welcome to the stream. Pocono is the last race on Prime, yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously going to have to try to call somebody to get to the bottom of this. I can't do that live on the stream, though. That's why I'm trying to figure it out without having to call anybody at the moment, because I'll have to hop off the stream to do that. It's frustrating. Yeah, chat's going to have to let me know for anybody that has, Prime Video. I've updated the payment method, and there's still issues viewing the account. Like, what can I do there? Because all I still try to get into qualifying. Watch live your Prime subscription payment method. Updated on the Play Store. But there's nothing on the Google Play Store. Two-step verification. Try another way. Oh boy. Sorry, I'm not talking much. I'm trying to multitask. There we go. Yes, it's me. Yep. Yep. Password. Try to refresh the page, see if they've started qualifying. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of a break period between practice and qualifying. And it says they are green at the moment, so that tells me Brennan Poole is out on the racetrack. Now, there is an alternate timing and scoring line, which is in the straightaway between turns 2 and 3. To try to speed the process of qualifying up. And not have to come all the way back around to the start-finish line to get the lap times to clock in. Now I'm having problems just trying to log into Google. This is getting extremely frustrating. They might have skipped Brennan Poole in the qualifying order. I can't view it visually, so I don't know. Zane Smith and Ty Dillon have made a qualifying lap 52.803 for Zane Smith, Ty Dillon 53.107. So they're the first two drivers to make a lap. It doesn't look like Poole's going to be qualifying today, so he'll be starting at the back. And then obviously we know Cody Ware will be skipped whenever he shows up on our list, actually, which would be right now. So Kyle Busch should be out on the track making a qualifying lap then if Poole and Ware will be skipped. Next three drivers, Kyle Busch, Noah Gragson, Riley Herbst, and then after Herbst will be Carson Hocevar for qualifying. Josh Berry's not qualifying either. Thank you for that. Yeah, see, there's nothing I have that I can get the information needed to update you guys. That's why it's so hard to do a live commentary stream when there's all I have is a raw feed. Oh boy. Said I was supposed to have received a security code, and I don't know where they sent the code to. Settings. I'm trying, guys. I'm doing my best to not end the stream. But I'm just having a bunch of technical issues. This is a pain in the rear. Kyle Busch third, Noah Gragson second, and Riley Herbst fifth out of 5 as they wrapped up their qualifying laps. Carson Hocevar just finished his lap up 52.379. Hocevar is now the fastest in qualifying of 6. 171.825 mile per hour for some of the fastest times. And that's without any drafting help either, obviously, so that's huge. Quite impressive lap there for Hocevar. Even early in the session, I think that can hold up for a top 10 time. He was great at Michigan on a fast oval a couple weeks ago, so I'd assume that he's going to be quick again here. Really, the ovals in general since the Coke 600 have been very strong for Carson Hocevar. All right, so I'm going into my settings, assuming that that's what it's telling me to do. Settings. App. See here. Oh, I see. Settings and then tap Google. So it's not in the apps. Settings. Let's go Google. Tap Google. Choose your account if not already selected. Manage Google account. Oh. Manage Google account. Google account. Can't talk now. This whole situation's got me flustered. Commercial break. Okay, well, thanks for the update there. Brad Keselowski second. He was pretty quick in practice. 0.4 of a second off of Hocevar's time, though, right now. That was a great lap by Carson Hocevar compared to those that have already made laps around him. Austin Dillon, 52.811. So 8 drivers have gone already in qualifying. Out of 34, because 3 drivers will not be qualifying. Again, they'll be skipping Brennan Poole, Cody Ware, and Josh Berry. So Kyle Larson will be next to qualify, followed by Justin Haley, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Todd Gilliland, and Daniel Suarez are the next 5. All right, onto my Google accounts. Under signing in, okay, security. Get one-time security code. Okay, got the code. How am I supposed to remember that? I gotta write this down. Got 12 digits on here. I need a pen and paper. Oh boy. I'll probably get the situation resolved as soon as qualifying is done, which isn't really gonna, help me for this stream, but sure I log in very early tomorrow to make sure everything is okay. 6. I'm not gonna read it out loud. That's probably not a good idea. All right. Anybody else qualified yet? No. Kyle Larson has not finished his lap, at least. What a mess of a situation that I have gotten myself in here. Wrong code. Oh my goodness. Payment methods. Is there a specific way on the Google payment side, asking you guys verbally, to put a specific card as primary on there? Like, would the one at the very top of the list be the primary form of payment? Because that's what I would think. Subscriptions and services. But yeah, there's nothing there. Yeah, YouTube Premium, Peacock, and AdSense, which is where I get paid for YouTube. Help and support. Yeah. I've lost hope. I've lost hope. I gotta. This should not be this hard to get into my Prime Video account. I mean, this is ridiculous. I've been working on this since like a half hour before the stream started, so like noon. I've been working on this for 2 hours. Stevos Network, thanks for tuning in also. Irina Sarah, welcome in. Just tuning in for the first time, I have not been able to view anything visually for practice or qualifying. Practice we did to a certain extent, and I was able to air some of the Prime Video audio for you guys while I was trying to figure out the solution to my problem, which is trying to view my Prime Video account. It keeps saying that I have to update my payment method, but my payment method is updated, and there isn't any way around getting off of that screen or my Prime Video account like actually working. Every time I go back into there, it keeps saying that there is a problem with my Prime subscription. And there's nothing I can do to help. And I went on to customer service with the chat line for Amazon Prime, and then they said that it was a third-party issue with Google, and I had to contact them. It's just a whole ordeal. All for I don't even know how much Amazon Prime Video is. I can't remember. What is it, like 10 or 15 bucks for a $10 to $15 subscription? Like that's all this is for? A 2-hour loophole? So I can watch NASCAR for for one more weekend and then end up canceling it again anyway because I won't have to worry about Prime Video again until next year. Crazy. Crazy, crazy stuff. Carson Hocevar still got the top time in qualifying. There have been a couple drivers to get closer to the lap that he put down. Daniel Suarez is now in second with a 52.631, and Eric Jones up to third in qualifying with a 52.632. Brad Keselowski still in fourth, and the gap between first and second is still just over 2/10. Quite a few drivers still have to qualify, but there's been a heavy hitter already. Kyle Larson, 52.966 was ninth, which is pretty far down the list of those that have made a lap. 14 have completed a lap so far. Todd Gillen at a 59.181. I'm going to assume that he had either a spin or a big slide, resulting in that slow of a lap, because he's 6.8 seconds off of the lap that Hocevar put. Stenhouse, 1.2 seconds. He probably had a moment too. But again, I can't visually know if that is factual or not. Honestly, can't wait till the stream is done so I can make some calls, because I'm upset. I'm upset that I cannot view this, and I need to for the race tomorrow. I couldn't even tell you the last time I've missed a NASCAR race in any way. It probably goes back to my racing days when I was racing growing up, and I would miss the Saturday night races. But we'd always have the radio broadcast on back by the trailer. So, whether we were working on the go-kart or the quarter midget or whatever, if we were working on anything racing-wise, obviously near where we had parked in the trailer in the pits, we could at least hear what was going on with the race throughout the night. But yeah, it's been a long time. So to not have that is very frustrating. 52.144 for Denny Hamlin, topping Carson Hocevar by 0.2 of a second. So Hocevar already had a great lap, considering he was over 0.2 quicker than Daniel Suarez, who is currently in third, and now Denny Hamlin is over 0.2 quicker than Hocevar's lap time. So that is going to be even tougher to beat. Hocevar's time is going to be tough to beat. Hamlin being that much significantly quicker than Hocevar, who is much more quicker than the rest of the field who had already qualified before him. Denny Hamlin's going to be very, very difficult to beat for qualifying time. 52.144 for Hamlin. 172.599 mile per hour average on the lap. His mile per hour speed was a 0.7 higher than Hocevar. Most of these qualifying laps have been quicker than what anybody was able to put down in practice. Austin Cindric is now on the racetrack working on his lap. Joey Logano qualified recently. He's in fifth. 52.673 for Logano. Two more of his Penske teammates have to go, and again, Cindric is on track at the moment. All right. I just got an email saying that the payment methods are updated. Again. Let's see here. I got one at 12:33. And I got another email about it at 2:01. So I can confirm that my payment method is updated and I still can't log into my Prime Video. I'll try it again. Tried on my phone and on my TV. Neither one of them were working earlier. Hendrick has been on the track for a very long time, if that was the case. Wasn't the case. Yeah. Yeah, I still can't get in. Does it take like 24 hours for it to process or something? Larson's had a few weird weeks. Yes, he has. Yeah, he was pretty slow when he qualified at Nashville a couple weeks ago as well. But then he was quick at Michigan, which, you know, with the high speeds, very similar, I would expect, for him to be able to qualify well here, but that just wasn't the case. Cole Custer, third. Austin Cindric, I got to find him. Cindric was 11th in qualifying, and then Custer was third right after him. Custer coming off a top 5 last week in Mexico City. So momentum riding high for the Haas team. It's a great qualifying lap for Custer. It's going to be one of his better starting efforts for the season. Tyler Reddick, who was very quick in practice earlier, second to only Bubba Wallace, should put up a pretty good time for qualifying. And we'll see if he can be anywhere around where a fellow Toyota driver, Denny Hamlin, is for the pole lap. Waiting for Reddick's time to post. Takes 24 hours to update. Oh, well, it better be up before the race tomorrow. It's so dumb. Why would it take 24 hours for... It's like, I kind of need it right now. I mean, it doesn't... Oh my gosh. Like, does that mean it's going to be on before the race starts tomorrow? Our stream starts at 1:30 tomorrow. Because I got the second email about the payment update being updated. I'm still going to have to call somebody because I need this to work ASAP. Or I'm going to have to start making calls to see if I can log into somebody else's account for tomorrow only. Which I could have done for today, I guess, but I also was crunching for time here. By the time I figured out that something was wrong with it, the stream was like a half hour away from starting. And I figured that I could resolve the issue on my own. Clearly, I couldn't. I don't know why it's got to be so difficult. I'm not majorly technically savvy, but I would like to think that that is something that I can figure out myself. So if I'm having to go through the whole rigmarole of, you know, bouncing back and forth from one link to another and not finding a complete answer to the solution in live chats and with customer support, it shouldn't be that hard to have my payment update processed as quickly as I need it to. Yeah, 24 hours is pretty brutal. It's like, well, that doesn't help me. It's like, what if you wanted to watch like another like big event that Prime was like what if your favorite team was playing Thursday night football and you sign up that day and then you're like, oh, 24 hours to process. Well, I guess I can't watch the, and then they're still going to charge me the next day. It's messed up. Ty Gibbs, 4th. Tyler Reddick, 5th for qualifying. That was a great lap by Cole Custer. 3rd place. He's beaten a lot of very, very good drivers, good teams for qualifying to this point. Ryan Blaney is now on the track. His Penske teammates are currently 8th and 14th. Blaney, the defending winner of this race at Pocono as well. 52.837. 15th, right behind his teammate Cindric, one spot back. So Ran to 1/1000th of a second of his teammate Cindric. More often than not, Logano does qualify a lot better than Cindric and Blaney. Most weekends. So he was able to get a couple more tenths out of the race car. I think a lot of that is a credit to crew chief Paul Wolfe for having maybe a better qualifying setup than what the drivers would have for the 12 and the 2 teams. Bruce Lee, thanks for tuning in. How long does NASCAR take to finish? So if you're talking about like one race, Cup Series is anywhere between 2.5 to 3 hours most weekend. The closer races to the 3.5 hour mark are going to be like your longer 500-mile races. But most weekends are 400 miles in length or less, and those races take 2.5 to 3 hours. Like Mexico City, they're not as long as they used to be because we used to have a lot more 500-mile races on the schedule, but nowadays there's very few. Darlington, Charlotte with the Coke 600, both Talladega races and the Daytona 500. I think those are the only 5 races that are 500 miles plus in length. AJ Allmendinger had a really bad lap too. 64.07. So he probably spun also. If I had to guess. I'll need confirmation in the chat if anybody's able to visually watch what's going on with qualifying right now. I am at the detriment to not. Again, if you're just tuning in, I know I've repeated myself a bunch, but for any new viewers that have just tuned in, I very much appreciate everybody that's still staying tuned in with the stream. I'm sure we've lost some of you, but at least there's support on your behalf, just not with Amazon. Bubba Wall's having an issue. Well, that's problematic. He's been very good at Pocono. And considering how fast he was in practice, I would expect that he would be somebody that could potentially go for the pole. And even if he doesn't get the top time, his teammate Tyler Reddick's in 6th, Ty Gibbs is 5th as well. Eric Jones, another Toyota, in 8th. I would assume he can get a good qualifying effort for him. But not if he's not able to qualify. So Wallace, John Hunter Nemechek, Shane Van Gisbergen, Michael McDowell, Chase Briscoe are all due up for qualifying. We're getting pretty close to the end of the line here. We only have 9 more drivers that have to make a lap. And the time to beat is Denny Hamlin's 52.144. Chris Buescher, by the way, is 2nd. Didn't even see that on our list. It looks like they've skipped Bubba Wallace in the qualifying order with whatever problems he is having because John Hunter Nemechek just posted a lap. Also 4th for Nemechek, 52.390. So both Legacy Motor Club Toyotas up in the top 10 right now. It's pretty impressive. Deep into qualifying. I don't know if Jones is going to hold on, but Nemechek should for a top 10 starting spot. So again, Buescher 2nd for qualifying, 52.227. And Buescher qualified on the front row in the last 2 oval races alongside Chase Briscoe. So trying to go for 3 oval front rows in a row. And his teammate Ryan Preece was on the front row last week for RFK Racing in Mexico City. So this could be 4 straight races with a RFK Ford on the front row. Having a problem with the clutch. Okay, thanks for the update. Well, better to have the issue in qualifying than in the race. Trying to see who just qualified. Shane Van Gisbergen, 20th for SVG. 52.962 on his lap. Well, the good news is we'll have full live commentary coverage, and I will have visuals for the CW for the Xfinity Series race later. So that I can promise you we'll have our normal live commentary stream. Sorry for the technical issues of me not being able to visually view what is going on at the moment. I can only hope that for the race tomorrow, things will be okay. We'll still be live regardless at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. If you're tuning in for the first time ever, this is not usually how I run things. And it's a lot more organized with a lot more statistical data that I just don't have at my expense. Chase Briscoe is now qualifying. Yeah, I appreciate the live updates in the chat, Matthew. Shout out to Matthew for keeping me updated in the chat with what's going on as much as he can. 6 for Chase Briscoe. 0.3 of a second off his teammate Hamlin's lap. 52.444 for a driver who has 3 poles already this season, all in a row before last week. Not going to get the pole this weekend, though, while his teammate Denny Hamlin still holds on. Again, time to beat, 52.144. William Byron, who was fastest in practice, still has to go. I'd assume he's going to put up a pretty solid lap. Chase Elliott was in the top 5 in practice, and he is also still having to qualify. Poole, Ware, Barry have been skipped. Bubba Wallace with the clutch issue also skipped. So 4 drivers not qualifying out of 37. And that leaves 3 drivers left to make a lap. Byron, Elliott, and Christopher Bell. So 3 drivers left to try to take down Hamlin's lap. And then Chris Buescher, who is also currently on the front row. Where's Bowman? Bowman 23rd. 52.978, right behind his teammate Larson. So the only 2 Hendrick Chevys that have qualified so far are both right on top of each other, 22nd and 23rd. But the 9 and the 24 look better in practice than what the 5 and the 48 did also. So I wouldn't say they're doomed, for qualifying at least. Both Larson and Bowman former winners at Pocono. Ryan Preece qualified 12th. Okay, I missed him. 52.727, pretty good. Right there with his teammate. RFK looks like they've got some pretty good speed this weekend. Byron wrapped up his lap, and he is 29th, 57.645, 30th. Chase Elliott, 28, 53.505. Wow, Hendrick is off this weekend. What is going on? All 4 Hendrick cars, 22nd, 23rd, 28th, and 30th in qualifying. Byron's lap was like 4 seconds off, so he probably had a slip up. Chase Elliott just flat out didn't have a great lap. I mean, you'd imagine they maybe had a issue there as well. That is insane. Christopher Bell's last driver to make a qualifying lap, teammate of Hamlin, who currently has the top spot. The fact that all 4 Hendrick cars are outside the top 20 in qualifying is insane. When has that ever happened? Waiting on Bell's lap to post. Fortunately, there won't be an interview with the pole sitter like there usually would be. But I will go through the full starting lineup for tomorrow's race as soon as Bell makes his qualifying lap. '24 spun out. All right, thank you for that. That makes sense. Considering he had a 57, which was only about 5 seconds off, that tells me he probably spun out in turn 2, if I'm guessing, because the scoring line is off the exit of turn 2. with the alternate line. Am I staying on here or making phone calls? As far as trying to get Prime Video, there will be a break between the Xfinity race and this stream. Elliott gets to retry his qualifying lap. It sounds, but he does have a heat cycle in his tires already, so it's gonna be tough. So Elliott was on track when Byron spun out, probably on his warm-up lap, which is why Elliott's getting a redo. Christopher Bell will probably go in the process of Elliott having a little bit of cool down time, but I don't know how much Elliott's going to be able to pick up, considering that his Hendrick teammates are outside the top 20 anyway. And I believe Elliott was 28th on his first lap. Pretty much only ahead of others that had issues in qualifying. Stenhouse, Byron, Gillen, and Allmendinger. All having problems in qualifying so far. 80-degree ambient temp for today at Pocono, so relatively warm for the June race weekend that we would usually see at the track. Yeah, Byron spun. Elliott was probably on his warm-up lap as Byron spun, bringing out a caution. Did Byron make contact with the wall or something? Does he have damage after the spin? Again, the Xfinity race will be on a separate stream from this anyway, but 3:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll be live for the Xfinity race at Pocono, and our usual live commentary will be uninterrupted there. So whatever technical issues I've been having for qualifying as far as trying to visually see the product of what's going on for qualifying and practice today, I won't have that issue for the Xfinity race, and I will make sure I won't have that issue for the Cup race tomorrow as well. If for whatever reason I can't get logged in tomorrow, I'll try to find somebody else's account. I think my sister has a Prime Video, so I'll try to get the login details for that. I think she works, so I'll have to get a hold of her tonight about it, just as a backup. So I won't have this issue tomorrow if there are issues with my account. Well, Elliott did make a lap, but apparently I don't have the full details. I would assume he checked up because Byron had spun. Or he was asked to, come back onto pit road mid-lap or so. I don't know. I don't have the full details, so I can't really explain it. Other than obviously he was on track when Byron had spun. Because usually that is the case, especially at a bigger track like Pocono. Byron gets past the start-finish line, the normal start-finish line. He enters turn one, and as he's entering turn one, that's usually when the next car could fire off. So that also leads me to believe that Byron's spin was probably in turn two. If Elliott had already left pit road. Because there's an alternate timing line for qualifying at Pocono. A full lap and then the timing lap around this very long racetrack just to kind of speed the process of qualifying up. We'll see this timing and scoring line again at Indianapolis, which is another big oval on the schedule. That'll probably be in the short chute between 3 and 4, if I remember correctly. Elliott's on track. So what, is Christopher Bell going after Elliott then? Because Bell hasn't posted his lap yet. So what's the order? The 9's back on track. Oh, Bell did post his lap. It was just slow on my end. 52.525 for Christopher Bell. It's going to put him 9th. A lot of the Toyotas right on top of each other. Briscoe, Gibbs, Reddick, Bell are all 6th through 9th, all Toyotas. Then Jones just another couple spots back at 11th, also in a Toyota. John Nemechek 4th. So Toyota bringing a lot of speed to Pocono this weekend. They're going to be tough to beat. Denny Hamlin in the 11, has the current top time, and the only driver left to qualify is Chase Elliott. And on Elliott's retry, looks like he just wrapped up his lap. 18th for Chase Elliott, 52.820. So he did pick up about 10 positions on the retry because of the Byron spin. So 18th is the best Hendrick starting spot for tomorrow for Chase. Again, Byron, 31st. And then Larson and Bowman, 24th, 25th. So it's going to be interesting to see how HMS does, all starting deep in the field tomorrow. Toyota is all lining up towards the front, including Denny Hamlin, who will be on the pole, as he'll be trying to go for, I believe, his 7th win at Pocono in his Cup career tomorrow. And he won the last race that he was in just 2 weeks ago at Michigan on another bigger oval. So Hamlin has a very good opportunity to try to get that 4th win of the season tomorrow. Chris Buescher, the other Chris Buescher on the front row. 4th straight week at RFK Ford will be on the front row. 3rd time for Buescher in the last 4 weeks. 3 straight oval front row starting spots for him. So row 1, Denny Hamlin, Chris Buescher. Row 2 will be Carson Hocevar and John Nemechek. Great qualifying efforts for them. Cole Custer starting in the top 5 where he finished last week at Mexico inside of row 3. Chase Briscoe to his outside. Row 4 will be Ty Gibbs and Tyler Reddick. Row 5, Christopher Bell, Daniel Suarez. Eric Jones, Joey Logano, row 6. Ryan Preece, Brad Keselowski, row 7. Row 8, Zane Smith and Austin Dillon. Noah Gragson, Chase Elliott, row 9. Austin Cindric, Ryan Blaney, row 10. Row 11 for Ross Chastain and Justin Haley. Shane Van Gisbergen and Kyle Larson, in row 12. Row 13 for Alex Bowman and Kyle Busch. Ty Dillon, Michael McDowell, row 14. Row 15, Riley Herbst and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Row 16, William Byron, Todd Gillen. Row 17 will be AJ Allmendinger and Bubba Wallace, probably. And then Josh Berry, Cody Ware, row 18, Brennan Poole. Row 19 rounds out our 37-car field. So that is the starting lineup for tomorrow. Congratulations to Denny Hamlin qualifying on the pole for tomorrow's Great American Getaway 400 at Pocono. We'll be live for that at 1:30 p.m. Eastern with no technical issues like I had today. I can promise you that. And I can also promise you we won't have technical issues for the Xfinity race, which will start in about an hour from now at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel. So sorry for the issues, obviously out of my control. I was doing the best I could during the course of the stream to try to fix the problem. So it definitely hurt the viewership, I'm sure, for the stream. Our like goal would have been 50 if everything was working correctly. We're at 25. Be sure to hit the like button. It does help me out a ton. I can understand if you didn't want to hit it for this stream in particular. But usual live commentary stream, uninterrupted, will be to follow later on today. Good news is we get a second attempt at it. Xfinity Racing coming up in about an hour, everybody, on a different stream. See you soon.